A much, much safer place.
At some point in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm going to be setting the deal.
April, sometimes those 2 weeks never come, right? We've seen it over and over. We've seen it over and over. Those 2 weeks never come. So, one, what do we know about where the president is in the decision making, and is he just punting here?
So it reminds me of the first term when he kept saying infrastructure week. It never came.
Mm-hmm.
Never came.
Or his healthcare plan.
Right. 2 weeks. That 2 weeks is nothing but kicking the can down the road, hoping that we forget. But this 2 weeks is kind of dangerous because he has pushed so far and so hard. This is more serious than anything he's ever done before. You don't poke the bear and think the bear's not going to come go row. And the bear is Iran. And the bottom line is this president is playing this game, walking away from Tulsi Gabbard, who is talking about the intelligence that they have on this. It reminds me almost of WMD, weapons of mass destruction, back in
20 years ago.
Yes, 20 years ago.
Ish.
Do we have it? Do we not? But here's the bottom line. Yeah, ish. But here's the bottom line. Former President Barack Obama knew that we didn't know enough about what the capabilities were, what Iran had, and he started working out a deal to quantify possibly and qualify. Then President Trump came in just because he hates Obama, ripped it up, and now he says, "I don't want a nuclear weapon." Well, you pushed us to the point.
And then Biden brought it back and he ripped it up again.
Right. But wait a minute. But he's pushed us to the point now that we might be at a point of no return. That 2 weeks may be really off the table because right now you don't know what's here in this nation. Sleeper cells, lone wolves who are listening and watching. This is a dangerous back and forth about 2 weeks.
So, Alex, sorry.
Go ahead.
On that point, what do you have reporting on that where the president is in his decision-making process? You guys wrote about that this week.
Yeah, so on Tuesday, when he had a National Security Council meeting, he was presented with attack plans on Iran, including going after Fordow, the nuclear site that is deep within a mountain, about half a mile, underneath that mountain, that would require pretty large American bombs in order to destroy. He approved of those plans, but he did not give a final order. So effectively, he has the defense community, the military community being prepared for, if he were to say go, to go. But once you make that decision, once you get those attack plans ready, it does build a bit of momentum towards saying go. Now, he can always pull back, and it seems like he has with this 2 weeks play. But he's now having meetings with people like Steve Bannon about whether or not actually going ahead would break the MAGA coalition. He's having meetings with people on the traditional Republican hawks who would like him to go ahead and even push further towards regime change. He's caught in a bit of a bind here between in his own politics and the military situation.
So all the people he's talking to, let's put up the list of folks, the advisors he's talking to about whether he should strike Iran. Bunch of people there. The couple people who are noticeably not there. One we've already talked about, the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard. But if you're going to do a possible strike on Iran, shouldn't the Secretary of Defense be among the people he's talking to? I just want to put that up there so people can understand. So the question I was going to ask you after April was talking about what she was saying, do they even have a day out, are they even discussing a day after plan? It's one thing to decide whether to strike Iran, but then there's, well, what happens after that? Are they having that discussion?
Well, that is one of the most underappreciated conversations in the national security world. What then? What next? What then? That tends to come, unfortunately, after the fact of day one. I can't say for sure that they're having it. Right now, they're having a discussion about what to do and whether or not to do it. The Pentagon, luckily, is a planning organization. One has to assume that they have a after plan. But the problem here is you can plan as much as you'd like, and you should, but no one really knows what Iran would do next, right? Would they start attacking U.S. troops in the Middle East? Would they look at potential weak spots of the U.S., which would include diplomatic, facilities in Latin America or Western Africa? Would they launch large cyber attacks? Would they coordinate more closely with Russia or China? They have this, not an alliance, but this relationship of convenience. There are many options that they have available. To use Trump's parlance, they have cards to play. Granted, Granted, the U.S. is the stronger actor. Israel is a stronger actor. Both those countries I just mentioned have nuclear weapons, but Iran does have cards.
Well, that gets to what you were saying before about the concerns about what could happen here in the United States if the United States does something.
Because it doesn't have to happen immediately after, right? There's the conversation happening right now about what's happening in Iran is that they're decimated, right? That they're on their back heels. But that could also just be them waiting to strike later, right? It doesn't have to be tomorrow.
It doesn't even have to be later.
It could be next year.
No. This is a now situation. People are watching, they're listening, and believe me, this country, it's still a very open country. Even though we put these barricades just outside of the windows up at the Capitol and around the White House, we are a very open society and anything can happen. But here's the piece that really brings home Zelensky. What Zelensky said, hey, you've got a body of water between you, but it's going to happen. And that kind of, it makes me think about what he said in the Oval Office when President Trump ran him out of the Oval Office a couple of months ago. We are an open society. And not only that, think about this, though. And you guys hit on it, and it's the elephant in the conversation in the room, forgive the pun, but he's just now starting to get intelligence. He's just now starting. Since Thursday, we're seeing consistent briefings. And before that, how often was the president getting briefs, right? He's just once a week. Was it bullet points? Was it a show and tell? What was it? Was it pictorial? I mean, because every day presidents used to get a book. Before this president, they used to get a book, basically, of what's going on around the world. And now he's playing catch up. He's doing the quick notes. This is not that moment to do quick notes.
Alex, real fast, I just want to get your reaction to the President of the United States saying, the Wall Street Journal has no idea what my thoughts are concerning Iran.
Well, one, not a denial of our story. Two, you're right. I don't know what his thoughts are, but even he said no one knows what I'm going to do, which includes himself. And then three, we're going to continue to report on this president and his decision-making on one of the most important decisions he's made of this presidency.
With that said, Alex, thank you for coming on. April Ryan is sticking around. Up next, as Vice President J.D. Vance visits Los Angeles, we'll have the latest on the legal battle over who controls California's National Guard. And stay with us because Mayor Karen Bass joins us later on in the program.